So last time on Phoenix Wright, we are accusing Acro of being the murderer to Russell Berry. So on this episode, we're going to enlighten them as to how we can. So, how he committed the crime. How? That is a good question. How did he? Let's see if we have any evidence saying as to how he did. I don't think we have any. Let's go with this first, because usually I think we will finally be graced with an explanation. Don't push it, Von Karma. What? You weren't gonna suck me into this time. I'm smart enough to know when I don't have the cards to play and I have in my hand sucks right now. What do you mean, Mr. Wright? He means that everything he said up until now has all been nonsense. It's true, right? If you can't establish proof of your murder theory, then it's nonsense. He's trying to fool us by playing some misdirection game. Okay, so I guess we have to show evidence. Okay, you gotta find some evidence. I'm going to present some evidence. So what did Mr. Dingling use to commit the murder? Oh, so first it goes from how he did it to what did he use. Okay, that makes perfect sense, game. What did he use? I think it's this. Nope. I think you should try again, especially before someone gets a chance to say something. Yeah, you're probably right. So as I was saying, this piece of evidence... Stop! Wait, I say. Before you start over, you must be penalized. Dang it. Oh, he caught me. If you don't put an end to this funny business, I've got a few more ideas. Okay, we're gonna present some evidence. What did he use? Okay, I don't think it's that then, but... I don't really remember this too well, so I'm going to create a save state because I haven't done so in a while and I need to keep up with those so when I accidentally press save state, it won't send me back all the way back to like where I last save stated. Take that! Nope. I don't care what you say, I can do this. What did he use? Take that! What's that? A picture? It is indeed. The problem is that the item that's shown in the picture... I should have picked that first. The bust? It's quite a large bust, and because of its life size, it's also very, very heavy. Heavy? Heavy enough to guarantee certain death, especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. Ah! See, this is how Acro was able to kill the Ringmaster, with force of gravity and Maximilian Galacta's ample bust. Order! So you're saying that the bust fell onto the Ringmaster? A rather simple crime. Even if you were just stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit. Objection! How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible! Objection! Well, Acro is an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust. Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges? Well, is it a loss for words? He should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Well, Acro, you can't run away from things that... Ow! I'd watch what I'd say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get a proper testimony from the witness himself. Testimony, you say? Karma. She's just using this testimony as a rouse to stall for time. There's absolutely no need for such testimony. Objection! The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecutor has the right to respond. The defense's objection is overruled. Aw, come on. Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony. The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him. Thank you. Ugh, that woman will sink to any level to win a case. Just like her father. Like father, like daughter. I suppose I could lift something the size of the bus. I have strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bus and working out the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop a bust on him, don't you think? I have my own little theory. I'm not going to share it with you guys yet, but I have a theory. I have no doubts in regard to this witness's testimony. It's impossible for him to lift a bus and carry it over the window. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries. That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination. He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really. You're the one stalling! Ah. I have some points I'd like to press on, and while he's only gone through one testimony, the music's already getting real. And why is that? Because if I were to do that, I'd end up falling out the window myself. I still haven't gotten much feeling back in my legs yet. So you couldn't have thrown that bus out of the window. Something about this, it doesn't really... How long do you think your recovery will take? You have to remember that the nerves were severe. I'm currently undergoing some extreme intensive rehabilitation, but it's still going to take a while before I'm back to 100%. Let me remind you of another very important point. If the witness was carrying the bus, he would not be able to see out below the window. It makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Well, who said you actually had to? Why do you say it would be impossible? Allow me to explain. You accept that if I was carrying the bus, I couldn't see out below the window? Thus, there is no way that I would know the location of the ringmaster's head. Well, I suppose you've got a point. Hey, Nick. Huh? What if you turn things around? See, that's what I was thinking. And even so, why would he have to know the location of the ringmaster's head? The question is why? I think I've already explained things sufficiently. That makes it impossible for you to know the location of his head. You don't have to, it's like, I'm trying to get it like this. He doesn't, I don't know how to explain this, so I'm just gonna have to go along with this. Objection! Yes! Acro, you didn't really need to lean out of the window, did you? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add. Objection! You're silly hinting at things as pointless, Mr. Phoenix, right? Enough stalling, how about you show us some evidence? But I did such a good job at it, didn't I? Yes, hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point is the wooden box. The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over? The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here? Who? When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box, which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime. You have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense. The moment that the bus came falling down was exactly the same moment that the ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answer to these questions is now crystal clear. You mean... if the bus were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box, there would be no way it could miss the head of the victim! Really? Order! Order! This is unbelievable! Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going, and there's only one way to go from here. Forward. So the next question I have, who placed that wooden box at the scene? It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down. Yow! Allow me to whip some sense into you. Mr. Phoenix Wright. Ow, ow, ow! The ringmaster said to have been anywhere when he lifted the box. That's why the box was so specially made. Specially made? Indeed. It had to be the most particular. It had a most peculiar feature. I want to say the contents, but nah. Size. It's the size of the contents. Size. The box was remarkably large. Had a remarkable size. Size? Exactly. I think you can tell from the picture that the wooden box was very large. To lift it up, one would have been required to squat, meaning that one would have to have taken it up in both arms, right? Moreover, the box is quite heavy. It weighs in the neighborhood of 20 pounds. The box also was carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? That is correct! To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head will be approximately in the same place. Fool! Why are you totally unfazed by this? Does she even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you've had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. Did you drop it? Did you drop the bus under the ringmaster? What are you talking about? Even if I wanted to do such a thing, I couldn't. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of this bust? I remember. Of course I remember. It was on the top of the table in the cafeteria. Then what happened to it? I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. That means... You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bus from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bus from the cafeteria to my room? You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright, explain that. Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice. Tell us exactly how the witness could have carried the bust from the cafeteria. Yep, definitely have a problem here. But this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happen once and for all. Alright, Mr. Wright, let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bus from the cafeteria to his room? This is actually a very simple one. Take that! A monkey? Everyone knows Money. He loves shiny objects of any size. For instance, he stole the ventriloquist's ring. So, are you saying that the witness had a monkey steal the bust? Of course! He didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own, and then brought it back home. Home? Money lives in Acro's room. Acro's room?
Objection!
But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny.
Objection!
Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record. My, those are some nice cards he's holding. Yes, and they are made of platinum, which is very shiny. Ugh! Acro? Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bus back to your room. If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate. Don't smile, we're accusing you of murder here. Order, order, I said order! Miss Von Karma! Where is the bust in question at this moment? I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak. This is a strange turn of events. If that monkey did not steal the bust, then what happens to this case? Well, in that event, something must have been used as the murder weapon. Well, or maybe this bust was the murder weapon, but it was used by accident. That's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of gold goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Moron! From fools to morons. Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that. Ow! Don't see some flamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney. Fraud? You've forgotten the most absolute, most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright. And what is that? You should know. You forgot that your fraud of a magic client was spotted at the scene of the crime. There is no reason to doubt the clown's testimony. That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright? Nick, don't let her beat you now. I won't. This is my chance to turn the trial around. When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The clown saw the murder. Who was it then? Who was the murderer? It was... Take that! He saw Max's butt. Ow! I asked who was the other person most saw at the scene. That evidence has nothing... Objection! Question, blah, blah. Encrocher, mon frère. It does indeed have something to do with the question. Most of it he saw Max's silhouette. But he didn't actually see the man himself! It wasn't a human being he saw! But, how is that possible? It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw was that night was Max's butt. Objection! What are you talking about? Have you tried to eat your brain at all in this case? The silhouette he saw just happened to be wearing a cloak. There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to a bust. Or a cloak like that could easily get snagged onto the bust if they came into contact. Idiot! Who in the right mind will put a cloak on a bust? It doesn't matter who put it on the bust. Just a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? That question is the utmost important to this case, don't you agree? Don't be cocky again. So let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? Who put the cloak on the bust? Simple, really. Take that! Oh, him? You are saying that it was the victim himself, Russell Berry? That's what I'm saying. The victim himself placed the cloak on the bus? Place the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it. Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright? Explain yourself! Nick, do you really have the handle on all this? I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright? So you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time. Whoosh. Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box to the scene. Then he attached that rope to the bus, and dangled the bus out of his bedroom window directly above the wooden box. At the time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. Oh my god, my nose just flared up. Okay. But being just as the fear, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than the ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trilo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now this is when the magic happens. At the very instant that the bus hit the victim, it got snagged onto him. You just wait a second there, Mr. Phoenix Wright. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this isn't true. It can't be. It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet. With shock of the impact, it threw up the cloak and got snagged onto the bus. That's when the sound was heard by the witness as he took a look out the window. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Mo Curls, the clown. When Mo looked out his window, the cloak had already been snagged onto the bus. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling the murder weapon up. Of course, he had no idea that Mo saw the bus being raised with the cloak dangling on it. Primarily being because in his wheelchair, he couldn't see out his window. So, he just kept pulling the bus up. And that is how the magical murderer disappeared into the sky came to be. Game, set, match. Now you know how the murder actually took place. And now you know who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the scene. Acro, it can only have been you! Are you serious? He's totally unfazed! So... what now? You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true? Evidence? In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip. Your whip really has nothing to do with it. Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, Archbishop brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence? Nick, they say they want evidence. I just explained how there can only be one possible murder method. But there's still something unusual about Mo's eyewitness account. Unusual? A contradiction, actually. Okay then, use that and get out of this jam. That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence in the court that backs up your claim. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic case. I think I'm stumped again. I don't know what it exactly is they want, so I'm going to end things off here. See you guys next time.